Hey guys, how you doing? As you can hear from my voice, I'm getting over a cold here, and this is a perfect time to answer a question that came up in the comments. It's about dealing with just regular run-of-the-mill illness as you're recovering. You know, when you get a cold, you get a stomach flu, or something like that. I'll read the question for you. I'll read the comment. Thanks for the awesome video. I had a quick question, as I've been following along for a while now and having a lot of success with this myself. However, a couple of days ago I got a stomach flu and I have a lot of fatigue with it. And so I'm wondering how you deal with the fatigue you get from actual illness versus TMS fatigue, and how to tell the difference. What should I be telling myself? It's difficult because it reminds me so much of when I was bedbound. Okay, yeah, I can totally relate. Makes sense. Because especially if you've been bedbound or even if you've just been fatigued, um, you get traumatized. You know, especially the longer you spend in that state of just fatigue and illness and not knowing what's going on. So any of those reminders, like an additional illness on top of just your regular TMS stuff that you're recovering from, yeah, it's going to kind of like trigger that. And no, that's something you'll get over to bit by bit. This is actually my third time during my recovery period that I get a cold. I don't know why. It's a little annoying, but what are you going to do? Maybe because I'm going out a lot, and I've been to like a couple of clinics. I had to drive my mom to like for a checkup or whatever. And there's a lot of sick people around, and maybe I haven't been out in a long time, just in my immune system. But whatever. Let me get back to the question. Uh, how do you differentiate the symptoms, and like how do you deal with the that now you're thinking, oh, this is just like my TMS fatigue? Yeah, just being ill in general, it's a threat. It's, if you think biologically, an illness of any kind, even a virus, is a threat. The influenza virus used to kill people. Now we live in much better conditions, and occasionally it still kills people, especially older people, people with weak immune systems. So from the standpoint of your body, it's a threat. So it's plugging into that same, it's pressing down on that same part of the brain that is, worried, concerned, hypervigilant. So it's natural that it'll have that effect on you. And the thing that I do is I remind myself that, look, I know that I'm a healthy person and that my immune system is perfectly capable of handling this infection, this virus, this bacterial infection, whatever it is. It may take a week or two or just a few days, I don't know, but in the end, I'm going to be fine. I eat a good diet. I've got, if you live in the modern world, it's very hard to be undernourished. You may eat like crap and stuff. That's a different question. But, you're fully nourished, almost certainly. And, you know, you're not freezing cold outside or whatever. You're indoors, hopefully. And so, yeah, you're going to recover. So you just got to remind yourself, hey, I have the perfect conditions to recover and there's nothing to fear. And okay, how do you distinguish which symptoms are TMS symptoms and which symptoms are the illness symptoms? Well, okay, I understand the question, but really now as I'm answering it, does it really matter which one it's coming from? I mean, either way, there's nothing to fear, nothing to be worried about. That's one. That's my one answer. But another answer I have is that I'm kind of like suspicious of my brain all the time. I'm like, because what tends to happen sometimes, occasionally, if you let it, if you get into that mental state, is that, it's been a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you're still experiencing symptoms from the infection? No, come on. Your immune system has probably suppressed the infection 3 weeks in, 4 weeks in. Uh, so I just start, like, I'm always suspicious of my brain. It's like my brain is guilty until proven innocent. It's not like the justice system where you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. I'm always like suspicious with my brain. I'm like, hey, are you sure you're not lying to me? You sure these are like symptoms of the infection and the illness and not just you TMSing me? Yeah, I'm always like suspicious. But you can't always tell every single symptom. And don't drive yourself crazy trying to work out, okay, is this TMS, is it not TMS? The longer it continues, the illness, the new overlay illness, like the cold or the flu or whatever, and the more suspicious you start getting, like, okay, this can't be, this is just my brain taking advantage of. If your brain is doing that, it's not necessarily going to do that. In my case, I even though I was like worried through each illness, and I calmed myself down, the same process basically that we do otherwise. Whenever you find yourself worried, okay, remind yourself that, just rationalize it. Okay, is there something truly dangerous going on? No, not really. And constantly reinforce that message. Am I going to be able to handle this? Of course. Okay, I'm feeling anxiety, true. I'm feeling a sense of threat, true. But it's a signal from my body, but I have thought about it and I know, oh, that's not a signal that's worth paying attention to. That's a false signal. That's either my body trying to mislead me, my brain, or just a miscalculation, just your body, you're so wired that you're like, everything is more threatening than it actually is. You feel it as more threatening, so you just remind yourself of that. And it gets easier every illness, because I guess I'm getting better, and also I'm having that experience of going through a flu or a cold, like with this new state of mind, so because I remember the last time I was sick, I got 2 colds in a row, kind of, and I was more concerned about it. Now I'm like, listen, dude, it's just a cold. People get colds. It's normal. You lay in bed for a couple of days. If sometimes it lingers a bit, whatever, you're gonna be fine. There's nothing to fear. And don't invest too much effort. Oh, okay, is this the TMS part or is this the flu part? Either way, you're completely fine. You're healthy. Assuming, of course, you've been checked out by a doctor, you don't have any serious conditions like cancer or a fracture or whatever it is, right? We always sort of have that disclaimer in the back of our minds. So yeah, that's basically it. It's fine. You're fine. If you get a cold or a flu, okay, you'll get over it and you'll move on, and it's not going to impede your recovery unless you let it, unless you like catastrophize and say, oh, this means I will never recover, or this will delay my recovery. But it has no effect on that, unless, of course, you make it have an effect on that, if you know what I mean. I'm not blaming you, understand that. I'm just saying you can get into that state of mind where you make it a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you think, oh, this is a problem now that I caught a cold or I'm getting over a flu or whatever. No, it's not a problem at all. You'll just get right back, pick up where you left off, just like healthy people do. They get sick, they take off a few days from work, whatever it is they do, and they, bit by bit, a few days later, a couple of weeks later, they're back in action. And that's what's going to happen to you, and there's nothing to fear. So yeah, hope that helps. Comment, like, etc. Spread the word. We're getting better. 2020, here we come. And if you're listening to this some year later, 2021, 23, 30, who knows? You're going to get better. Peace.